Hello, StarCraft fans! This is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another StarCraft Brood War upload. This is a game between Light and Minus here on Fighting Spirit. In the bottom right side of the map, we have the white Protoss player. It is Minus. And in the top right side of the map, we have the red Terran player. It is Light. So a TVP here for you today on this Saturday. Welcome aboard. If this is your first time here, put your feet up, relax, and get prepared for an amazing StarCraft Brood War replay. I got this off of ICC Cup, the website. I'm not sure if it's icccup.com now that I think about it, but maybe it is. And it has a lot of recommendations. Did not watch it beforehand, so I'm just as surprised as you are. Holy smokes, you guys. Chatting back and forth in Korean. Both of these players have over 200 APM in Brood Wars, so this should be a pretty darn amazing game. All right, so TVP is basically the meta is mech versus dragoons and arbiters and all sorts of great stuff out of the Protoss player. A lot of tanks from Terran vultures to spider mines. It's going to be a very, very interesting game here. Oh, pretty darn early Nexus here out of Minus, our Protoss player. Is that even before? That's even before his first gateway. He's feeling very brave against Light here, who has been around for a while. Very, very strong Terran Protoss, or Terran Protoss player, Terran player in the StarCraft Brood War scene. Factory on the way as well for our Terran player, scouting around with an SCV. Not going to find anything. You'll notice it's a little bit faster than it should be, or a little bit faster than it needs to be, I guess is how I would say. Just because there's not a lot that happens in the early games of Brood War. Early StarCraft 2 games had those problems as well, even through the Heart of the Swarm. The early game was just like, so dang slow. Then they started the increasing worker count, and it made a lot of sense to me. Increasing that worker count makes the early game more interesting, starts it faster as well, and then everybody is pleased. Haven't heard any complaints anyway. So some Marines are moving out here. We're going to slow down a tiny bit. We're not going to go, well, actually fastest is probably where we want to be right here. Going to chase away this probe. Probe's too smart for that though. Trying to see if the Marines are committing or not. They're probably not. They're just going to play defense for a little bit. Probably not going to march all the way down. Do have to research right here on the machine shop siege mode for the tanks, which is not what this is. This is actually spider mines. The upgrade for vultures. They don't come with spider mines. You have to upgrade them, and they only get 3. They get 3 total spider mines, and once they're gone, that's it. You don't get any more for those vultures. Their usefulness is greatly reduced, although, again, against light stuff, against SCVs, against Marines, they're pretty good. Now, this probe is just playing with fire. Really wants to see when this push is coming and just scouting it beautifully here. So we do have moving out is Lights with a tank and a few Marines. By moving out, I mean kind of patrolling back and forth here. Oh, finally gets one shot off on that probe with the tank, and the probe ends up getting murdered. Got some Dragoons, and the upgrade that is so important here is this one, the range for Dragoons here. Get it at the Cybernetics core. With range, you can actually take down spider mines from a distance without triggering them, and that's kind of the important thing in this matchup. If you have Dragoons, they gotta have range. If not, you're probably gonna lose straight up here. So I already do have some Widow Mines out. Do we have, where's my Vulture at? There my Vulture at. Moving around. I actually can't see how many spider mines he has in this replay interface, which is unfortunate. There's a probe looking to go for a third Nexus, but again, really good against probes. Bam, Vulture toast. Second base under construction here for Light. It is way behind the Nexus for the Protoss player, but I think he will probably be okay in the long run here. Again, Dragoon's pretty good against Vulture. Vulture might try to sneak in behind these Dragoons. No, get spotted. Get spotted. Take some shots there. Might actually get a couple more probe kills. One probe does die, and Vulture does get rocked at the same time. Pushing in here with the Dragoons. Oh, did that actually hit? Oh, that didn't hit the Dragoon. Oh, amazing, amazing micro on display there. More shots off. Trying to take down that tank with the Dragoons. They do get the tank. Actually, is this a little quiet? This a little quiet? Seems a little quiet. We might bump this up a little bit here, nonetheless. Yeah, that's better. That's a much better sound, at least to me. Let me know if that's crazy sounds or not. So Dragoons are susceptible to getting surrounded by SCVs. Oh, Spider-Man does take out 2 of the Dragoons here. Unfortunately, wasn't quite watching for those. Was worried about getting chased by the army. And a bit of a flanking by a stationary spider mine. More Dragoons coming up here, threatening the front door of the Terran player. And yeah, I think Minus is doing this thing right. Want to try to contain. Do the tanks not have siege mode yet? Are they working on that upgrade? Well, nothing's happening in the machine shop. Again, throwing down spider mines, but firing there, taking one of them down. Bad news bears. These Dragoons are now outnumbered pretty severely. They are going to back on out. These tanks can't have siege, or they'd be in siege right now, I think. I think they would. They're just so good against Dragoons. They're extra damage there. The situation for them against Dragoons is just really good. Spider mines keep getting picked off from distance here. Is there... I just realized, is there an observer here for our Protoss player? Oh, tank gets focused down as well. Really trying to keep that tank count down is what the Dragoons are doing, and finishes one off there. This Dragoon is still alive with 2 kills. Looking great, going after SCVs, trying to not get killed by the rest of the stuff. It has 13 hit points remaining, and it's just going to try to scout here. Oh, no, the tank finishes him off. Finishes him off. All right, so actually what happens, I think, here is the Spider-Man... when they engage, they do unburrow, and they're visible as they come to kill you. And the Dragoons can hit them pretty hard from distance here. 20 damage per shot. Spider-Mines have 20 hit points. That was on purpose. That was on purpose after some balance changes for sure. All right, Dragoons, what you got for me? 4 of them sitting up. Are we going for a third base at all? Not really. Throwing up a pylon, a potential third base location, but doesn't have any sign of actually going for it quite yet. Yeah, I think that's what they're doing. They're trying. Great focus there, man. Taking those Widow Mines out. Nope, too many. Oh, another 2 Dragoons die. Oh, another third one there. Got a lot of Marines, got a tank, got some Vikings outnumbering the Dragoons. Those Spider Mine hits really causing some problems here for Minus. Is it Minus or is it Candy? You saw that, right? You saw the chats in the early stage. The way he formats his name, it could be either one. And I tried to look him up on Wikipedia, couldn't quite find him, but he's a good enough player that he played a really great game against Light, so I assume we're up for a pretty good match. And so far, he has acquitted himself fairly well. So holding this, not a ramp, it's a bridge. Holding this bridge into his natural base. Any sign of going for a third base? He does have the pylon wall here at this third base location in case vultures try to come in. That does block them pretty darn effectively. And here we go, pushing in Terran Marines, throwing down spider mines in the middle of the field here, getting some nice shots off on these Dragoons. This is a really strong push out of light, but dropping Zealots on top of the tanks. That is such a staple in this matchup as well, right on top of the tanks. They do so well against those siege tanks. Spider-Man's getting destroyed here, continually getting destroyed, and pulling back a little bit here is Light. He does have a couple tanks. He's got a Marine, he's got a Vulture as well, and that third base is coming in for our Protoss player. Any sign of a third base for Light? Not quite yet. He's really trying to do this thing with 2 bases right now. The tanks, oh, the tanks can hit the observatory that is built here in the natural base, trying to go get it with this shuttle. Oh, he's got a Reaver in this one. Reaver shot does get a big time hit off there, greatly injuring a couple of these tanks. And the tanks trying to be finished off by the Dragoons, not working out as well as Minus would like here. But this shuttle still contains a Reaver. Reaver does have a bit of a delay, but does chase down and kill a Vulture with that Scarab. The Scarabs do 100 damage per shot. They hit really hard. Their AI is kind of dumb, though. Shuttle can do this because there's really not much shooting up here, right? This mech. Not many Goliaths on the ground right now. Actually, 0 Goliaths on the ground right now for our Terran player. Not really making any either. Production tab, not production tab, just production buildings show tanks. They show Vultures. And making some missile turrets at the front. There you go. That's what you want. Oh, there's an observer. There's an observer helping here for sure. Vultures trying to come in. Zealots again on top of the tanks. Another tank gonna die. Reaver does kill another siege tank there. This Reaver doing a great job. Pretty good micro on display here for sure from our Protoss player. Dragoons trying to chase barracks away. SCV's dying as well, and Light forced to pull back. He does have some Vultures trying to sneak down this middle path, possibly go to take out the third. But again, that's what this pylon wall is for, to keep them away, keep them out from doing that. Are you going to come down next? Is that what you're going to try to do? This barracks is not necessary for the meching Light, and the Dragoons will kill it, as it is a scouting unit for sure. Observer coming up to scout, see what's going on. There are a lot of Vultures coming down here right now, but the Dragoons are ready for them. They're ready for them, and they decide to retreat. Yeah, these Vultures are trying to kill these pylons, but they're so bad against buildings. Look at that. Look how little damage it is against buildings. Like 20 damage per shot. Actually, you know, it is straight up 20. It'll take a while to get there against a 600 hit point pylon. The rest of the Vultures not too interested in assisting here. I guess they're waiting for defense, possibly trying to bait our Protoss player on over there to try to save it. What do we got to save it here? Ah, Dragoon comes. Dragoon comes from around the other side and can hit the Vulture from behind the pylons, chasing it away very nicely indeed. Still no third base out yet from Light. Constructing a command center, though. There it is, right next to his natural. He'll lift it off and land it somewheres, probably up here, I'd guess, to the left, if the expansion paths are the same for everybody. Is this shuttle still doing stuff? This shuttle is keeping the attention of a large part of Light's army here. Meanwhile, Dragoons are pushing the front. Tank holding the line. Again, a single tank can cause a lot of problems for a bunch of Dragoons. Shuttle wants to land, really wants to get in here and land and kill some of these SCVs, but the tank positioning really good. Actually, can he possibly get back here behind these supply depots and unload and then throw a Scarab down? That might be far enough away that the siege tank won't kill it, but another tank coming in and the shuttle decides, never mind, perhaps I don't want to land here. After all, he's thinking about it, but I think this tank can kill the Reaver if it pops out of the shuttle right now. Don't do it. Don't pop out of the shuttle right now. Love this music. Love this Terran music. It just takes me back to when I'm, what was I, 14 years old when this came out? 14, 15? Maybe I was even 16. Either way, Goliath going after the shuttle forces the Reaver to pop out and die. And the shuttle's a little bit trapped here and does get murdered as well. Alright, so Dragoons holding the front. There aren't that many of them, but trying to keep the Terran player from pushing out. Is this where the third base is going to go down? The right side, I apologize. The right side, not the top side. Actually expanding towards the Protoss player here. There are some Dragoons coming in. There are some Vultures trying to hold the line. But again, against these Dragoons, not the greatest of situations at all. Trying to trigger a lot of these spider mines with a couple sacrificial Dragoons, but now there are tanks. Now there are tanks with no upgrades, but there are several of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tanks on this high ground, doing a great job establishing this third. Zealots trying to go for it anyway. Going up ramps is really hard in Brood War, but going for it. Here is Minus killing a bunch of these Vultures. The tanks getting shot at directly by the Dragoons and the Zealots on top of them as well. The tank count plummeting here. Down to 0. Suddenly down to 0. The push goes a lot better than I expect it would. For our Protoss player, a lot of SCVs getting murdered here as well, forced to fight for their lives against these Dragoons that don't have any attack upgrades, but that doesn't really matter. Zealots on top of SCVs, not a good spot if you're a Terran player either. As he pulling out, more tanks are showing up to try to save this base. Killing the ComSat station, maybe the priority now. That's going to be your guaranteed damage in this situation. And yes, the ComSat station does get taken down. A barracks here as well. Probably won't get destroyed as the Dragoon count is slowly whittled down to 1, approximately 1. Observer scouting out how many spider mines are on the ground outside his natural base. There's a lot. Fourth base already done in the bottom left corner here for Minus as well. Transferring some probes down that way, being escorted by some Dragoons just in case there are some Widow Mines or some Vultures. And there are a couple sitting here. They've been here for a while, actually. And there we go. Fighting the Vultures. Trying not to lose too many probes. Probes, look out! You're getting destroyed by this 1, 2 Vultures. Finally, the Vulture does get destroyed. The probes manage to escape to this bottom left corner, and that's 4 bases for our Protoss player. He did manage to save his observatory as well. That's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. On mine clearing duty are a couple Dragoons. All the mines are out. A bit of another push out, though. A slow, steady push out here from Light. Slow and steady wins the race, building some missile turrets, throwing spider mines down everywhere, bringing his engineering bay out for scouting as well. This is a little bit different from the Flash style of Terran, where he'll just go, man. He will get a giant army of tanks and Vultures and Goliaths and just push on you until you die, but a little bit more slow, a little bit steadier is Light here, and he's going to do okay. I think he's doing just fine. Dragoons hanging out. Again, Dragoons are kind of where it's at. Kind of where it's at in PvT as far as Brood War is concerned. What else? I mean, what else can we do? What else is possible here from the Protoss player? Archons can be pretty good in this situation. Corsair is not that great. Carrier, actually not bad. Again, if the Goliath count isn't huge, carriers are going to be just fine. Missile turret count isn't high enough to really dissuade them either. But tech switching can be hard in Brood War. A little bit slow for Protoss. We'll see if he can pull it off, or if he even tries to pull it off. And all the realities here. Trying to expand to this top side now is Light for his 4th base. There are a million Dragoons waiting for this to happen. The command center is coming over anyway. I'm not worried about it. I'll be saved by the many tanks with +1 attack here that are going to save my command center against these Dragoons. Dragoons decide actually not to stick around there anyway, but there is a pylon blocking the attempt to land. Instant death on that Dragoon as these tanks all got in siege mode and murdered it. Murdered it directly. Still doing a great job scouting here is Minus. Candy Minus. Minus Candy. pylon getting destroyed by these vultures, by several tanks as well, but a pretty humongous Dragoon army. There we go with Arbiter support and some Zealots. 194 supply for the Protoss player compared to 138 for the Terran. But again, tanks are kind of the great equalizer. Splash damage, they do great against Dragoons. Great against Zealots as well. Not as good against Zealots, but pretty darn fantastic. Could possibly use the Arbiter to recall. The recall into that base, but just pushing on this spider minefield. Arbiter taking shots from the missile turret. You don't want to see that there. The tanks now have Zealots right on top of them, which is not what they want at all. Vultures doing pretty good extra damage here versus those light units. Explosive damage, good against Zealots. But the cloaking field being negated fairly well by the ComSat scan. I like this push. Out of -4, sure. There are 2 tanks just off the ramp here, trying to get shots off. There's the scan. The Arbiter pulls back with the Dragoons. Arbiter did take some hull damage, 6 points of hull damage on that guy. Shields are regenerating as fast as they possibly can, and saving his 4th base is Light. I keep looking for that production tab, and it doesn't exist. There's no such thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th base done as well. So 5 bases to 4 bases, expanding pretty darn well as our Protoss player. Keeping up, though, is Light, keeping up with the Joneses. Vultures trying to see what they can see. There is a Dragoon holding this ramp. It doesn't look like he's holding the whole ramp, but he totally is. Totally holding the whole ramp by himself. Vultures get chased down and exploded by the Dragoons there. SCV's transferring to this 4th base. Lot of ComSat play here. Why are they killing their own? Was that Vulture glitching out? Is that why they killed it? Seems possible. Glitching on ramps is kind of a Brood War thing. It's especially with Goliaths, especially with Dragoons. They just, sometimes units get stuck going up there. Is that a 6th base? 6th base coming up here for the Protoss player as well. Holy shamoly. Feeling extremely strong against Light. Can't say I necessarily blame him. Still just +1 attack done on these Dragoons. Clearing out minefields and just continuing to throw them down, continuing to make tanks, continuing to siege them forward. Here is Light. Is there an easy way to attack into this 4th base? Not really. It's just that ramp. Going up ramps again. Not a great experience. We have 157 supply for the Terran player. We have 199 maxed out is Minus, and he's got a lot of Zealots and Dragoons in this 3rd base of Light doing a full retreat of SCVs. Can he save this thing? I don't know that he can. See, these Dragoons are stuck, right? They're like, we're trying to get up the ramp, but these 2 morons are blocking it because they're attacking this barracks that is here. So 3rd base is gone for the Terran player. Not looking very good at all for him. Can't afford to lose that 3rd, especially considering every other base, I think, has been taken by the Protoss player, except for this middle one, which has 2 Vespene geysers, a lot of minerals, but impossible to hold. It's just a giant area place that you can be attacked. Not worrying about his 3rd, though, is Light. He's going to go kill other bases. He will go tit for tat, an eye for an eye against his Protoss enemy. I was going to say Protoss friend. They could be friends, but right now they're enemies. Temporarily, they are enemies. Tanks setting up in siege mode. This single Dragoon trying to hold the line to this 6th base. No, not going to happen. Cannons on the high ground causing some problems for these tanks, but instantly evaporated. Oh, we do have a science vessel out for Light. Probably for EMP. If I had to guess what that one's for. Is there... I mean, we're just kind of base racing it. We're just base racing it right now. That 6th base is not being protected whatsoever by Minus. He's just going after this main. He wants to kill the main base of his opponent. That Arbiter died to that missile turret. I think it did. That, a little bit careless. But again, I think he's worried about the army on the left side of the map while simultaneously trying to attack the right side of the map. Oh, a lot of tanks showing up, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tanks. And these Dragoons are getting just obliterated off the face of the earth. Some more Dragoons are here, but just straight up against tanks. Not a good thing. So lost some stuff inside his main base. Did Light lost some supply depots. Looks like he lost an armory that was possibly going for some upgrades. Tanks setting up shop. Defensive matrix tossed down on one of these tanks. DTs have joined the party for Minus, but the science vessel also allows for detection, allowing the Dark Templar to get cleaned up. Did I just try to do the click drag? I did, and it's so fast. So fast. Science vessel doing its job, man. This 5th base along the left side is getting murdered. There is direct tank fire on top of these cannons. Not a cut on top of the Nexus yet. Zealot comes down with +2 attack, trying to kill this tank. Splash damage does actually finish off the siege tank. I don't think that was the Zealot. I think his friend did some splash damage on the Zealot, catching his other tank buddy in the crossfire, which is never a good experience here. These Vultures trying to take down the 6th Nexus in the top left side of the map. Kind of cut off from it Here is Minus. Where is his army at? He does have some Dragoons. Main base. Oh, here we go. Some more Dragoons with Arbiter support. All the Dragoons are going to die, though. And the Arbiter says, I'm gotta get out. These two Arbiters got to get the heck on out of here. Oh, taking the third base location for himself is Minus with more Arbiters on the ground and in the sky. Attacking up into the middle, right in the middle of these fortifications is Minus, though. Trying to get rid of missile turrets, trying to kill vultures. Again, Science Vessel here. EMP removing the shields entirely on these Dragoons. They immediately start regenerating them, but that hurts. That's a lot of lost HP on your Dragoons. Spider Mine getting rid of that one for sure, and the remaining Dragoons decide to pull back where it's a little bit safer and take out a vulture. Oh, taking this base along the left side is Light. So just south of where the 6th base was is Light. I think taking the middle base now is Minus as well. Every base on this map has been taken so far. Tank shutting down the 5th base of Minus. Who's going to come save it? It looks like a couple Zealots. Are there enough? Couple Zealots. Oh, Spider Mines taking one of them out, but 2 Zealots make it into the party. The defensive matrix gonna stall just a little bit. Is it enough to save the tank? Vultures coming in to assist as well, and yes, look at that. Saving the tank. Tank has 14 kills. More Zealots coming in, more Spider Mines, trying to thin those out, trying to save the 5th base is the Protoss, and enough units finally come over, like 8 Dragoons and 7 Zealots. That's gonna work out. Arbiter cloaking as well. The middle base, I'm really not sure if our Terran player knows about this or not. I'm pretty sure that he does not. Arbiter trying to kill this Science Vessel. Got EMP'd, but is not dead. That's good news for that Arbiter. Arbiter going, oh, there it is. There's the recall. Recalling into this base on the left side of the map for Light. Again, just south of the 6th. I think that's his, like his 5th base here. Either way, a lot of stuff dying. SCVs forced to fight for their lives. Lot of dead SCVs in this game so far, but I don't think our Terran player is much worse for the wear. +2/+1 upgrades on those tanks. +2/+1 as well for the Dragoons. Not entirely sure if that's on purpose or not for a specific reason. It's been a while since I paid attention to upgrades in Brood War, but could be. Do we have more Dragoons here inside the main base of Light? Just killing stuff as you do when you're Dragoons. Arbiter gets destroyed by that missile turret, and this 5th base of Light stays alive. He's making more SCVs. He's building more missile turrets. The tanks are destroying Zealots that are trying to join the party here as well. So it's basically top versus bottom right now is what we're seeing. Throwing up a gateway at the top is Minus. That's kind of like he's bridged in. That gateway is. I don't know what he's planning on doing with it, but it could be interesting. Trying another recall. Does get it. The Arbiter sacrifices himself to get into this mineral line. Zealots on top of SCVs, not what you want to see if you are an SCV. Again, defensive matrix, pretty great, but not enough to save the tank forever. It does end up falling. A lot of SCVs dying here at this 5th base. This might be a massive blow to the Terran army. Tank with 6 kills, finally taken down by a combination of Dragoons and Zealots. More tanks showing up to the party. Some of them sieged, some of them not. Dragoons getting rid of missile turrets, trying to finish off this command center. SCVs actually coming back, feeling brave enough to come back because the tanks are right behind them, and all the Dragoons end up dead. A lot of dead Dragoons in this game. A lot of dead tanks, a lot of dead Zealots. I wish I could see resources lost. Perhaps Brood War Remastered will give us access to these sorts of things. Vulture getting rid of this gateway, which is good stuff. He's still working on that thing. 2 Vultures actually working on it. And you know what? That gateway up top, Dark Templar coming in from that gateway up top here for our Protoss player. He's maxed out with 3,000, 1,000 in the bank. Terran player at 100 supply and not much of a bank whatsoever here. So really needs this 5th base. Needs it to be happy. Probably a little bit oversaturated, but that's better than undersaturated at this point. Not doing much with this middle base is Minus. He has 1 probe mining minerals, has not taken extra assimilators at all. Possibly worried if he overcommits to it too much, he'll just get killed. Where'd that Dark Templar go? Dark Templar is here, checking to see if there's a 6th base to kill up at the top left, and where his base used to be. But it's not there anymore. It's not there. It's not there anymore. So I think every base on the map's been taken except this top left one where the DT is kind of holding court. Are there still Dragoons? It's like the Great Eternity, or Eternal Principles. Death, taxes, and Dragoons in Light's main base. Supply depots getting absolutely murdered here as well. One's going to burn down. Dragoons sacrificing themselves. Oh, took down a Science Vessel right before it died. Brave Dragoon. Their tanks moving down to the south. And again, just setting up. This red has just been spreading. It's kind of like the USSR a little bit back in the 80s. Spider-Mine rather. Spider-Mine does hit the Dark Templar. Clearing out missile turret. Well done. Might try to walk into this 5th base and just start murdering stuff. 50 damage on those warp blades, and SCVs have 60 HP. So two swings of the sword will take down an SCV here in this 5th base. But worried about an attack on his own 5th base along this left side. Tanks with defensive matrix, more tanks supporting it as well. A lot of probes dying here at the same time. Not looking good. Coming from the backside to try to save the day are a lot of zealots. 4 minus. Woo, spider mines clearing them out as per the usual. Cloaked zealots against tanks. Pretty good situation to be in if you happen to be a cloaked zealot, and they do manage to clear out the tank threat on this 5th base. This 5th base has been assaulted several times, but has not been killed yet. I think the Protoss player might just have this game. Isn't really changing up the strategy as much as I expected here, but you know what? So far, so good. So far, so good. Science vessel out scouting, gets murdered. Really, no more science vessels? Science facility, rather, getting destroyed. Did I say science vessel? And it's looking like our Protoss player is gaining a little bit of momentum here. There is a High Templar getting destroyed. Oh, here at this 5th base of lights because of a spider mine. Man, spider mines is kind of everywhere. Just everywhere you don't want them to be. Storming that mineral line. SCV is trying to fight, but there's only 3 of them remaining, and they quickly get removed. Who's coming to try to save the day? Looks like a couple tanks. 4, 5, 6, 7 tanks. A lot of vultures trying to save this 5th base, and I think they're going to save the command center, but that's a lot of dead SCVs, you guys. 98 total supply for the Terran, 197 for the Protoss. Protoss player is in command, as in charge right now. The income cannot be healthy for Light right now. He has one mining base. His 5th base was his second one, but it's in a lot of trouble. And the vultures did find our sneaky gateways up here on the top side of the map, and they're going to try to take it down. Possibly the tanks will come to assist as well. Dark Templar continue to be built out of these gateways. Might want to try to cancel those at some point, but another swell of Dragoons marching up towards the north. Kind of take out this 5th base. I think they could probably do it. Everyone from Light's army is a little bit distracted. DTs are here. Are they stuck up here? They might be stuck up there. I don't know if they want... Oh, there's the scan, though, and Dark Templar get evaporated. Pushing to the right, though, are the Dragoons. Not going after the 5th base. Trying to move in closer and closer to Light's main, or Light's 4th base. That is his 4th, right? Up top. Yep, that's the 4th one that he took. Zealots going after these SCVs, evacuating out the back door. The SCVs, though. Get out! Get out! Run, Dragoons! Going after this command center. Really trying to do some good micro to get rid of this command center. Again, this is one of the mining bases that Light had. His income is just abysmal right now. Command center is on fire and directly under fire. And it does end up exploding. One base remaining. In fairness, pretty well saturated is this 5th base, but that's it. That's all he has. There are several mining bases. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll count 5 for the Protoss. I really don't see how Light comes back in this game. I just don't see any possible way that he can do it. Dragoons are just everywhere. It feels like we got vultures throwing down spider mines, but it's just kind of a delay tactic, as the Dragoons have done a great job clearing out those fields. I wish I could see how many spider mines have been killed in this game, but I cannot. Alas and alack, I cannot. Another recall here inside the main base of, guess what, Dragoons and Zealots. Arbiter doing its job. Main base under direct assault, taking down a control tower on this starport. Spider mines getting destroyed from distance as soon as they reveal their faces. Do they have faces? They just robots. I think they're just faces. Middle base, like I said, middle base getting found by a million vultures, doing 26 damage per shot. Nexus is going to fall pretty darn quickly there. But again, main base under attack. Is this enough to supply block Light? He's got 142 available supply, and 96 of it is being used, so eventually we'll get there. It's not instantaneous, though. What is even left here for Light? He has these vultures. He has a bunch of tanks trying to construct a base in the top left side of this map. But if he oh, their carriers are out. Oh, I wish I had a production tab. That's it. The carriers arrive. And Light backs out, does call the GG, leaves the game, and our Protoss player is victorious. Wow, the tech switch caught me by surprise. I even talked about it I even talked about it, but down here in the left corner where he built his Stargates, somewhere I don't think Light did much scouting at all. Did he even, can we tell? Dang, I can't tell. Can't tell if he knew this was here or not. I guess he had to assume, but I didn't know about the Stargates, the carriers. Oh, the carriers arrived, and there just wasn't anything to deal with that from Light. He didn't have any Goliaths. His missile turret count was abysmal. There's a lot of tanks and a lot of vultures, which are worth absolute bupkis against the carriers. Good game. 31-minute PVT where the Protoss wins. Nicely done. Here out of this guy, this minus candy guy, whatever his name happens to be. Made it happen against Light, and that was a wonderful game to be sure. All right, so that's going to be it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another StarCraft Brood War upload. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit the subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, and Patreon, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.